out there in YouTube land there. Today I'm going to show you how a simple way of making security bars. Nice looking security bars, not jail ones. These bars are going onto aluminum windows, or aluminum frames I guess. And what you do is you measure the internal cavity of the window. When you make your measurements, you do the inside check, double check, height, top and bottom, because sometimes they're not real square. But typically what you do is you make your vertical cuts the same height as the inside of the window. Subtract 1/8 of an inch, because those screws will suck those frames up tight to the window bars. It makes you look like you're doing a good job. But your horizontals here, make them 1 inch minus shorter, because you're working to the inside measurement now of these window bars. So you have to remember to subtract 1 inch, because it goes inside your vertical. Now I'll just tack weld these. I'm using the frame here of my table just to eyeball, get close, and then I'll just tack these. This takes a light tack to hold it before so you can square it up. There, now you do a diagonal measurement. You don't need to use a square. You do a diagonal measurement, corner to corner, outside to outside. So we've got 58 and a 16, 58 and an 8, so close enough. You have to make sure, so after you get it square, to clamp one corner down so it doesn't wander on you when you're welding all the horizontals in. Okay, now, here's the simple way of determining your spacing. Again, we're working to the inside. So, we've got 55 inches. Typical spacing is going to be 8 inches, give or take, but we want it even. So we've got 55 inches. If you divide 55 by 8.5, so the 8 inches is for your distance, and the 0.5, the ½ inch, is for the width of your bar. So that gives you 6 horizontals going in there. So now, 6 inches, or 6 pieces of ½ inch square bar is 3 inches of material. So you've got 55 inches, you subtract your amount of material, which is 3 inches, which equals 52, and you divide that by the number of spaces. So 6 pieces, there's going to be 7 spaces. There's always one more space than there is your bars. So divided by 7 equals 7.42. So now, don't use this. What I do is go, so we're just a hair under 7.5. So I go 7.42 and add ½ an inch for the width of you're measuring from the outside. So add ½ an inch. So then what I'm doing is I take a corner and I use this set square now for my distances. What a good fit that is. if you do it this way, it'll always come out even, especially if you have a bunch of windows in a row and now all the horizontals have to line up. Because I've learned, I do hundreds of these, I've learned that if you use a tape measure and try and measure in between, sooner or later you're on a big window bar and you're reaching over there and oh, that's an 8 and an 1/8. But it's not, it's maybe an 1/8 and a 1/16. Well, you've done 5 or 6 bars at a 1/16 of an inch. By the time you get to the top, you're going to be out. So if you do it this way, you're always bang on the money. So we'll just tack them in. Double check that. Tack them in. Here the Miller, not a Miller, a Lincoln welder. Nice little big welder, 200 amp. These are security bars for another liquor store here in Calgary, Alberta. They love breaking into the liquor stores. So I used to build them, try using the tape measure and start at 8 inches. And then I'd end up with 7 inches at the end. Then I'd figure, well, it'd be 8 1/4. And finally, somebody showed me how to do this method here on the calculator. And it always works on the calculator, but eventually you're going to end up with maybe a 1/16 of an inch difference at the end. Because this half-inch square bar isn't exactly half-inch. But as long as they're all even, it's out 1/16 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch. Who cares? But they're lined straight all the way across the window. Yes, I see that piece of rust in there, all the wire peel that off. These are going to get painted. Powder coating them just gets too expensive. I can't find anybody that does a real good job. Paint, they're all inside always, so there's never a rust problem. So I ended up pretty close here. I'm a 1/8 of an inch over, but nobody's ever going to know. Well, I guess they will now if it's on YouTube. And then the same thing with vertical, they go on top. And I already have this marked out for center. Making the window bars with these spacing like this. That's hot, eh? Is a lot nicer looking than the type that have a lot of horizontal, or a lot of verticals and only a couple of horizontals. Now when you're welding these in, I used to weld both sides all the time. It's not really necessary. If you stagger your welds back and forth, nobody's going to take them off. If you weld them all on one side first, it's going to twist that 1/2 inch bar. But if you stagger your welds, you got to be inside to cut the grind, the welds and everything. So if they're in the building, they're already in. They're not going to break in to take your window bars apart. So I'll just every second one you weld. Saves a lot of labor. And again, they're not going to get them off. If you're going to get them off, they're going to try and cut them off. And they're not going to cut the weld. It's a lot simpler using the tubing used to do them out of the 1/2-inch solid square, and some of these big windows that are, 6 foot by 8 foot, you can't lift the bloody things after. And again, if they're going to come with the cutting discs, it's only a matter of a few seconds to cut through solid square as opposed to the tubing. What I normally do, if I have a lot of windows that are on the face of the building, they got to make sure you've always got the same corners. They're always line up. Don't flip that part around. So typically I just mark them, number them, bottom right hand corner, and the guys that I build them for, they install them. Number 3, they install them, and they know everything's going to line up. So now I'll take these and weld them around. You don't have to weld the backside. Weld down both sides here on the verticals. Don't have to weld the backside. It's in the cavity of the window. Nobody's going to see it. And again, it's got all its strength being welded here and here. If you want to take and grind these welds off after, that's up to you. But typically, once they're painted up and that, they're not really that noticeable. Okay, we'll weld this. There you go. Do the other side the same. Take your wire wheel here. Go over all your welds. And then I just have to, after I weld the other side, all I do is drill the holes. Got here your Bobby Goss jam session, Calgary, Alberta, Big Al's Bar. Drill all your holes, and if this vertical is always the inside of the window bar, so if you take your drill bit and you drill on an angle up, it's easier when you go to install them to put your tech screws through here than if you drill straight through. This is always in the way for your, I usually use an impact driver and just use regular tech screws, 1.25 inches, like this. They got the nice head on them, and they drill and tap themselves all in one shot. And going through that aluminum, nothing to it. I'll hang a couple of some welding wire on here to hang them to paint them, spray them, they're done. Okay, that's the easy way of doing it. I've tried all different ways of building window bars, this and that. These welds here, once they're painted up, they seem to be acceptable. You can, like I say, go ahead and grind all these down. In a house, I usually, if I'm putting them in houses, put them in. But in houses, you make sure that if they're going in bedrooms, that you've got an easy to get out. Next video I'll show you how to build a nice breakaway system, and because you don't want that on your conscience, somebody getting trapped in the house in case of a fire. Anyways, from Calgary, Alberta, Welder Waynes, talk to you again.